Hello, my name's Sue Grant. I'm the Managing Director of the Berthon Sales Group, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Market Report 2024, which is an annual publication. And just as we were getting over the new year and your hangover, we start to think about this publication. And it's something that's absolutely fascinating for me that we put together every year, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing this year. One of the most fascinating things are the flight deck reports. Everybody is absolutely thrilled to come back from the holiday to be told that they have to write 1,000 words about the market and what's been happening in the previous year. And we get the grimaces and oh my gosh, and everybody does it. And for me, when I read it, it's fascinating because the theme and the basic trends are, of course, exactly the same, whether it's the States or whether it's Spain or here in the UK. But there are subtle differences. And if you are looking at buying a performance boat or a motorboat or whatever, it's fascinating to read from the broker who's actually been in the market that year. This year, we're actually also adding in specifications, moving imagery and high quality imagery from these specialisms. So when you watch the pieces from those who are speaking to you for their flight deck report, you can then dive into these boats. So then, of course, we look at what's happening in the market and the things that we're worried about and our clients are worried about. One of our essential contributors is Simon Anslow from PKF The Accountants, and he is our VAT guru. For this year he writes again, and he writes about the good, the bad and the ugly, and it's an interesting update on what's happening with VAT treatment in Europe and in the UK for yachts. He's retiring, sadly, so it's his last report, but PKF will be fielding another report next year, as I'm sure there'll be new dramas in 2024. Marko Pas is also writing for us. He's the designer of the Pegasus 50. He was also the designer for the Shipman series, and he writes about yacht building technology, and he's a very clever dude and we love him dearly. We've been the supporters of World Cruising, who run the Ark, the World Ark, and all sorts of other fabulous rallies, and this year they write for us. Since COVID, rallies, doing more, going further has been something that's really important in yachting, and it's really interesting to hear from them about how to approach rallies and the fact that actually anything goes. And they are, of course, completely committed, and they just love what they do. So that's a nice piece. And of course, then there is Checkmate. As you will see from where I am, we're a bit chess-themed this year. And so Checkmate is a little piece from us of the technological improvements, the changes, the things that we just think are pretty cool and are in fact Checkmate. And then, of course, Keith Longman. Berthon Boat Company is at the core of our group, and Keith Longman is our yard manager. Mending the Skills Gap is his article, and it's about the people that we employ on the floor and in fact throughout Berthon. We maintain a very important apprentices programme. Training young people is the most important thing that we do here. He talks about that and the other initiatives and the stuff that he does, and he wears many hats at Berthon, but he is a very special guy and it's a very good article. And the next article is about yacht ownership. Since COVID, things have changed. We've had baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, lots of changes in the guys that are actually buying yachts from us. And the way in which they want to own yachts, fractional ownership, and all sorts of other schemes that are now changing the landscape and how yachts are actually owned and used, which is, I think, very interesting. And of course, for yacht brokers, there are always bumps in the road. We seem to have more than our fair share. It is said that there are no problems, there are only opportunities. We've had stacks of opportunities in 2023, and I think in 24 we expect more, so you can read a little bit more about our bumps in the road. And we always close with our very feeble attempt at searing, nautical searing. We get out the Berthon crystal ball and we tell you what's going to happen in the rest of the year. I do hope that you'll enjoy this year's market report. As ever, we've had a ball putting it together, albeit with some grumbles at the very beginning of the year. And thank you very much for listening.